Welcome into Pitchfork Lunch. Yes, I am Michael Carrottenuto at Diablo00 on X, artist formerly known as the Twitter, where you can hit me up, comments on here, everything. See the show live, also on my IG, michael.carrottenuto.5 on IG, and the YouTube channel, Pitchfork Lunchers. You have been awesome, but subscribe to the my YouTube channel, because when you miss shows, and if you can't check them out live, which again, bummer. I'd love to spend lunch with you every day, Monday through Friday, talking ASU sports. Yes, the good. Yes, the ups and downs, everything. But if you miss it, you can always go back to the YouTube channel. And you go to YouTube and go to my, you can go to my page. It's at M as in Michael, V as in Victory, C as in Cat 005 at MVC005 on YouTube. Subscribe. Catch all the interviews, everything, conversations, coaches, players, voices, insiders. friends of the program, everything. Alum that have done phenomenal. Yeah, of course. So, yes, subscribe to the YouTube channel. At M as in Michael, V as in Victory, C as in Cat 005, at MVC 005 on YouTube, and subscribe. Yes, it's one of my favorite Homer things to wear. That's right. Since 1885, when, yes, those wonderful, trying to be witty, which witty, genius, anything about that school down south. I don't know if those words belong in the same sentence, but when, they call it Tempe Normal School. So that's always fun. That is always fun when they try it. But yeah, when they call it Tempe Normal School and all that stuff, and you can look at you guys can go look and make fun of them the whole history, how they tried not to make sure that ASU wasn't a university because they knew. I mean, come on, let's be honest. Let's be honest. They knew. But anyway, I digress. So, yeah. Well, I said talking about good and bad. There is no hiding from the there's no hiding from it. It was a brutal game last night for ASU. Didn't start out too bad, but they what's the old saying? They couldn't hit the broadside of a barn shooting, and that was definitely not the night to do it. They shot a dismal, I want to say 29% from the field for the game. Yeah, it was not pretty. It was not pretty. So yeah, they finished 14-18 on the season, and I mean, at half, you look at the rebounds. The score wasn't great, to say the least, but you look at the rebounds, and Utah beat them 90-57, and it was. I mean, it started out so, but it was 47-22 at half in favor of Utah. ASU had a normal, better second half, put up 35 points. But yeah, that's just the inconsistency, which has been kind of the theme to a lot of questions this year. And last night with Utah's length, and we saw it, we obviously know Jose Perez. But in the starting lineup, so it was Frankie Collins, Jemiah Neal, Adam Miller, Alonzo Gaffney, but Sean Phillips Jr. Also started. But Frankie Collins did lead the team with 20 points. Last night, 8 for 21 from the field, 2 for 5 from 3, 2 for 4 from the line. They were 10 for 17 from the line, so 58%. Although, if they make 7 more, it's just 90-64. So they shot, I said 29%, 31% from the field. They were 30% in the first half, 32 in the second half, and they shot 31% from the field. I mean, rebounds, it was 42-36 in favor of Utah, a little bit of an edge. And that's what I was saying at halftime. That wasn't too bad. But for Coach Hurley, look, it's, again, not an excuse. It's facts. It's the inconsistency from what has been hitting shots this season. I mean, Adam Miller, who's had, a solid, you could say, a solid half season. But again, because he wasn't able to play because they had to check out the multiple transfer rule, or dealing with the multiple transfer rule. And then when the court decision came down, these players could play. But I mean, Adam Miller last night picked a night to not have a shot. And that hasn't been the case this season. He was 2 for 12 from the field, 0 for 6 from behind the arc, didn't attempt any free throws, and had 3 rebounds. He had 4 points, 3 rebounds, 1 assist, and 2 steals. Frankie Collins did have 1 steal, but he had 20 points, 2 rebounds, no assists. I mean, there was a lot of missed shots. Brian Salabonge had 8 rebounds. Sean Phillips Jr., he had 5. But Salabonge off the bench, had 4 points, 8 rebounds, 6 of those offensive. He's crashed the boards this year. And that's one, he talked about being the energy. And he talked about being the energy. And that's just his game. And it's not, fake or manufactured. That's how he plays. And he had a lot of opportunities for rebounds last night, which was the tough part and unfortunate, due to the fact that when we look at the missed shots, like you said, you shoot 30% in the first half, but like I said, Salabonge, in the 8 rebounds, 6 of those offensive. So yeah, because, and again, second chance opportunities are great, but that's, Sean Phillips Jr. had 3 offensive boards. Both Alonzo Gaffney and Adam Miller and Kamari Lance had 1, and so did Akeel Watson. He had an offensive board as well. There was a team one, I guess, when it hits the floor and then somebody grabs it. It's just credited a team rebound, but still, it's 14 offensive rebounds. You see that, you're like, okay, that's good. But, second chance points for ASU, they only had 8 on those 14 offensive rebounds. Utah had no second chance points, but the problem is they shot 59% from the field. They shot 19 to 27 in the first half, kids. And the quick math on that, 70%. And, in watching the game, it's not like they were, crazy wide open shots. Yes, there was a few, but they were hitting open shots. Yes, there were a few little, their stretches of missed shots did not last as long as ASU's. And that was the issue. But that's been the issue all season. Coaches talk about not hitting open shots, and there was layups missed. And yeah, some had some contact again. And when we look at ASU committed 17 personal fouls and was called for 17. Utah was called for 15. So, once again, and they weren't, they were better from the line from ASU, but still not good in what you want at this time of year, especially in postseason. They were 14 to 21. They were 66%. From the free throw line. But when you shoot 59% from the field, 46 from 3, they were 12 for 26 from the 3-point line. They shot 7 of 15 in the first half, 46%, 5 of 11 in the second half, 45.45%, and they finished at 46.2% for the night from the 3-point arc. So, yeah, once you start going above 35, hitting, 38, 39, you get to 40 and above, good luck beating somebody. And yeah, 12 for 26 from the arc. So 3-point shooting wise, extremely efficient were the Utes. And look, that's the season there in a nutshell, unfortunately, for men's hoops. Not hitting open shots, not getting to the hoop. Yes, with Jose Perez gone, but you played the UCLA game without him and had their, I mean, this offensive effort, I mean, this output was not great, obviously, but 57 points. The first half was tough, and that's kind of also been another huge issue. And for men's sweeps this year, and players have talked about it. Coach Hurley talked about it. But it's one of those things where it's one of those things where if you're Bobby Hurley, like, I mean, you can talk about it and it looks like, you know, guys did improve, but no Jose Perez at UCLA. Like I said, that offensive output, that was one of the most atrocious offensive games that I've seen in a long time at ASU. And under Bobby Hurley as well. Even when he first came here 9 years ago and, was kind of had a very short bench and didn't have much depth, like, and never saw, they may have got beat by teams, but it wasn't for a lack of effort. And but last night, I mean, there was some open shots. And like I said, Adam Miller just, like Willie Bloomquist said last Friday or Saturday against when they took on when they lost to Oregon is baseball. I mean, sometimes it's going to happen. Sometimes in basketball, like as a team, yes, it has happened. It happened too much this year. And we can talk transfer portal, and I hope to get Chris Cartman on the show tomorrow, talking a lot because just about obviously, Bobby Hurley, the NIL transfer portal, because I mean, we've touched on it a little bit, but now that the season's over, I mean, this is a deep dive into it. So aiming to get him on tomorrow, and that would be awesome. But yeah, 90-57 is the final score, and the Sun Devils' last game of the season. Frankie Collins was visibly frustrated. I mean, there was a timeout. I want to say, I don't know if it was at the end of the first half. Yeah, maybe end of the first half, where he was in the hut. They were in the huddle, and he was just visibly unhappy with his teammates and kind of talking to a few and letting a few, I guess you could say, have that verbal thing. But that's what a leader does. That's what a leader has to do at times. And people, in this day and age, competitors are not, you can say, kids or athletes are softer, the way they're doing things soft or whatever. I'm not saying that, but you need to have a teammate that obviously cares enough about, yes, the team, but loves the game, and to get in your face and say those things. And Bobby Hurley was letting some of the other players have it while Frankie Collins was doing his thing. So look, that part, as from a leadership standpoint, you love to see, but it just, yeah, I mean, Jose Perez leaving, I mean, the wheels were very wobbly on the bus, and they fell off the bus. So, but again, I'll wrap the game a little bit more in a little bit. Also yesterday was NFL Pro Day. ASU's Pro Day, and there were scouts from every team there. And Chris Edmonds definitely showed out in the 40. Roe Torrance looked good. Deshaun Mallory. I mean, a lot of the scouts, and you'll hear from him. I will play the sound. I won't spoil it, but Deshaun Mallory came in looking very he had cut weight from Michigan State before he transferred from Michigan State to ASU, but now he you'll see what he said about the scouts talking to him about, his size and all that. But he, again, it was great talking to him, and Roe Torrance, Chris Edmonds, thought all had good days. Geo Sanders, receiver, I mean, that kind of slot receiver that, it's again, Sanders isn't the biggest, but you can't coach speed, right? Can't coach size, can't coach speed, and you can't tackle what you can't catch. Yes, in the NFL, there is a lot of speed. We do understand that. But, after some nice big gainers and you're getting tackled, that works too, right? Right. So, yeah, we'll hear from the guys at Pro Day. Was yesterday, but got sound. And then we had a little softball and baseball because they played Tuesday night. So, but yes, we shall get to that. Men's tennis, who is doing well. And we had, if you missed it, again, that's why you subscribe to the YouTube channel. But before or right as the season was kicking off, we had Coach Matt Hill on again. Such a great story. His road, but his road to becoming a coach and then, overcoming a battle with cancer when he was young, kind of took the playing part away, but, still gets out in the court and is a very, very good coach. Coach Hill. He has led this team so far. They are 10-5 overall. They're 5-2 at home, 1-1 away, and 4-2 on neutral sites. So winning more than you're losing, and you got to love that. They played in the February, back in February last month, the 16th through the 18th. They played in the ITA Indoor National Championship where they took on number 2 TCU and lost 4-0. Took on number 5 South Carolina at the time, lost 4-2. But then they took on number 13 Michigan and battled and won 4-2. So, you lose to number 2, lose to number 5, but you beat number 13. And again, for Coach Hill, that's absolutely awesome. Completely and absolutely awesome. So that's always good. And they beat Michigan 4-2. And then after that, they returned home, beat Nevada 5-2, and then beat Grand Canyon same day, February 23rd, 4-0. And then the Diablos, love that college invitation. I know I mentioned it back at the beginning, like a few weeks ago. I know I'd mentioned they were hosting it, but the Diablos college invitational where they beat Boise State 4-3. Then they lost to number 15 Michigan State 4-2. And then, Michigan was number 13 when they beat them the first time. Then Michigan was number 36. So they beat Michigan 4-2 again to take 2 out of 3 in the Diablos College Invitational. And that was the third. And now tomorrow they are headed to San Diego. Yes, the home of Mr. Ron Burgundy, y'all. You know this. Playing San Diego State. It's Ed Collins Classic. So they will play San Diego State tomorrow at 12, and then Saturday and Sunday, the times to be determined, but they will be in San Diego all weekend for the Ed Collins Classic. So we will see how this 10-5 team does, but taking on San Diego State first, who just happens the men's tennis team happens to be 8-2 right now overall. They're 6-1 at home, 2-1 away. So yes, they a good team, to say the least. Let's see who else is going to be at this event. Maybe they have it listed. Oh, so ASU, San Diego State, Princeton, and Tulane. Princeton and Tulane. So, yes, Princeton from the great state of New Jersey, and Tulane, the Green Wave. So those are the 4 teams in the Ed Collins Classic. So that is who is playing. So ASU, SDSU, Princeton, and Tulane. So we be liking that. But yeah, for the men, they have that. On the women's side for tennis, by the way, I haven't given an update on that in a minute. Apologies. They are, no, they are 8-6 overall. 0-2 in conference, but 7-3 at home, 0-2 away, 1-1 on a neutral site. Are the Lady Devils on the tennis court, as they've played Oklahoma State was number 1. They played them back on February 17th, and they lost 4-0. Then they turned around and beat Cal Poly on the 18th, 4-0. Beat Ohio State, who's number 7 at the time. They came to Tempe the end of last month, and ASU beat them 4-1. They went to Baylor and fell to Baylor 4-2 on March 5th, the greatest day of March. But again, they battled there, and now last Friday they fell to the 3rd-ranked team in the nation in Stanford 4-1, and then on Saturday they lost to Cal 4-3, so close there. But then on Wednesday, closing out a nice little 3-set homestand, they swept NAU 4-0, and now tomorrow they will be in LA taking on. So they'll just be north on the 5 there from the men's team, but they are taking on UCLA tomorrow at 1:30, and then Saturday they will take on USC. So that is what they have going on. And like I said, 8-6 right now, so don't mind that. But I'm going to take a break. When we get back, we are going to hear from the guys that had went through Pro Day yesterday. Some of the guys, not every single one, because there was quite a few, obviously. But we'll hear some sound from the guys that went through Pro Day: Deshaun Mallory, Ro Torrance, Chris Edmonds as well. So, yes, we will hear from them. And, then we'll jump a little bit more into men's hoops as well. Again, tough beatdown that Utah put on them, but Utah shot lights out. And, hey, guess what? ASU did not even come close to turning a light switch on. And that's the tough part about it. Again, it pains me to say, believe me, Pitchfork Lunch, it pains me to say, but that's what happened. So we'll step aside real quick, but more coming up here on Pitchfork Lunch. All right, welcome back to Pitchfork Lunch. Yes, I am Michael Caratino at Diablo00 on X, artist formerly known as Twitter. You can see the show live there every day, 12 to 1. My IG, michael.caratino.5, and the YouTube channel. It's live on the YouTube channel. Plus, go and subscribe to it, because when you miss a show and you miss what's about to come up here from players from Pro Day and miss breakdowns and guests and all that good stuff, you can binge watch it on YouTube. And go to, like I said, go to my YouTube channel. It's at M as in Michael, V as in Victory, C as in Cat 005 at MVC005 on YouTube. Subscribe. Pitchfork Lunchers, let's go. But yeah, let's go with that. Yeah, so yesterday, Pro Day. And like I said, I mean, some of the gym stuff, there was some good, some maybe a little bit surprising. And Ro Torrance, again, was the one player who obviously went through this stuff at the NFL Combine. He was the only Sun Devil invited. And again, there's 300 invites, so there's a lot of people that don't get invited. And some that do, that, don't work out, don't throw, but they just go for the interviews, maybe measurements, and that's about it. And that's frustrating because that's a spot taken up. But what do I know? Nonetheless, but that being said, Ro Torrance, again, going through it again, he had a heck of a day. And again, I mean, especially on the field drills, Deshaun Mallory, same thing as well. And I mean, I mean, the kind of season he had, I mean, and even when he transferred the, 2 seasons he's been at ASU, it's, I mean, and look, he had a huge, he dropped, you'll hear it. He dropped a lot of weight. And when you hear him say it, like, and again, not just from the end of the season to the combine, that's the, you'll hear him talk about the weight he dropped and why. But yeah, I mean, just when you hear it, it's like, wow. But again, how he played, what he's been able to do, or what he was able to do, and he wanted to show off, another aspect to him. And, it's one of those things where, I mean, and that's huge, which, I mean, showing that, but, and, it's funny, some of us were talking about it yesterday at Pro Day real quick, is that, like offensive line, a lot of them, after they're done playing and you see them like, just kind of like, slim down, and it's like, yeah, you're not, obviously eating as much. Yeah, I mean, you're not, obviously intaking as much. I mean, even Joey Ramos looked really good too. So, he obviously transferred back as well, but, had a battle back from injury and played pretty much all of last season banged up. But yeah, so anyway, though, let's get to it though, because you need to hear from them. I keep talking about it, and you need to hear from them. So we shall be hearing from Deshaun Mallory first. So yes, without further ado, here is a Sun Devil defensive lineman from yesterday after working out for Pro Day.
right. They helped me clean up on a lot of the little small details, and I feel like I had a great overall day today, really.
What are some of the specific things you thought you performed well in and were able to show these scouts?
For one, I mean, being able to showcase what I can do at my weight class. I mean, I understand that it's definitely light, and during the offseason, I try to be a little bit lighter just so I can show the case that I can run and be fast. So today, I feel like I put a lot of point of emphasis on the drills, being able to run and go through the L drill, the 5-10-5, stuff like that. I really wanted to showcase my speed today. I know 260, 265 as far as interior D lineman is not the ideal weight in the NFL, but today I wanted to showcase my speed. I understand that in my previous builds I was a little bit heavier, and I know on the film you can't really see how fast I am. Today I wanted the scouts to see me up close and personal, that I can actually be a fast player. And that was the details for today.
Does that help you show that you have position versatility, playing in different fronts and different alignments?
Right, yes sir, I feel like it definitely does. Even this past season at Arizona State, we had guys like BJ Green, Anthony Cooper, Clayton Smith, where we could have played anywhere. And some of our packages, we didn't use them a lot, but I lined up at DN just so we can confuse the upcoming teams and stuff like that. So there's a lot of places where I feel like I can be versatile, can scoot out there for defensive end, maybe not cover nobody, I don't know. But I mean, adding an extra hat to rush off the edge, I feel like I'm fully capable of doing that. So yes, I think showing case that I can be fast can add to a little bit of my versatility for my profile.
Is this the best shape you've been in?
Actually, no. 2021 season at Michigan State, I lost over 100 pounds, and I was exactly how I am right now, almost identical. So right now, I feel like this is just the second coming of what I can do, and it's been less than 3 years, so I feel phenomenal right now. I feel phenomenal.
What kind of feedback are you hearing from teams, scouts?
The biggest one is for sure, how come I lost all the weight, or how come I kept it down so far? And as I'm telling you guys today, it was to showcase that I can be fast. But what I'm hearing from a lot of scouts, as far as like today and just of lately, guys like my mentality. The scouts love what I can bring to the table. They love what I can do for a team. They love the mindset I can bring to a room, and they also love that my knowledge of the game. I feel like I'm not just a guy that wants to line up and just attack. I feel like I can understand an offense. I feel like I can understand sets, understand backfields, understand blocks, and I feel like being able to talk like that to these coaches, I feel like they're understanding that I'm also a smart player as well. So I feel like today, I feel like I've been getting quite a lot of feedback that's kind of honestly been putting myself in this bubble of who I thought I already was before. And it's definitely just reassuring hearing from the guys that I'm trying to get a job from. So I can say that a lot of the feedback has been very positive.
You're talking about how you're physically prepared for today. How do you feel like you're mentally prepared for a day like today?
Man, I'll be honest with you, man. Yesterday, I definitely had quite a bit of nerves. I think around like 5 p.m., I was really just chilling in my room, and then I had like a big old wave of like heat. I was sweating, I was panicking. But I had to understand that, man, I've been doing this my whole life. The drills aren't any different. Football is no different. I understand the people that are watching me are a lot up close and money is involved. I understand that. But at the same time, I've been doing these drills since I've been 13. And I feel like for the mental aspect, I feel like I was just trying to tell myself that this is art. The more I can sit there and sharpen myself, hone in on the little details, it'll be beautiful by the time I come out here, as long as I keep my mind clear. And even today, I ripped myself out of my cleat. I didn't throw a fit. I didn't start, getting in my head. I literally just told my trainer, Jerry, can we get a tape? Got it taped and proceeded on with the drill as best as I can. I understand that today was a day that this was my last day to showcase anything. So I feel like for my mindset, man, I was just very happy to be out here. Very fortunate to still be in this position, especially about my situation happening at Michigan State. I can't be more than thankful to be out here.
So what do the next few weeks look like for you?
Next few weeks, honestly, probably lay down, man. Probably lay down, take a couple days off, but really honestly get back into it. I know I probably will get another pro day probably from the Chicago Bears coming up soon. So I don't want to sit down and just sit on my ass. I want to go home, at least see family, kind of unwind, relax my body, but then I know I got to get right back into it. So like I said, the next couple of weeks, I say probably within the next week is probably my break. But I'll probably go home in the next 2 weeks, and after that, I'll link back up with my home trainer and be back to work. So I can't really say too much about the next 2 weeks besides working.
In terms of specific number goals, like whether it be bench press or 40, was there any specific goal that you reached today?
Honestly, all the way around. I mean, I can sit here and tell y'all that it's very pretty to sit here and foreshadow what I think that I'll do, but the proof is in the pudding. I mean, I'm an athlete at the end of the day. I understand that I had to compete, and I feel like what I did today honestly solidified who I am as a player. I showed up. I know that I weighed less than what I was supposed to, but I put up good numbers in the bench. I ran fast. I jumped high, and I was out here competing. I feel like that was the only thing I can really ask of myself is to make sure I come out here and compete. So anything else happened after that, I'm just very fortunate that it did happen.
Even a lot of people in your college are going to doubt you kind of throughout the process. Just, today when you hear positive feedback from the scout, what does that do for your confidence moving forward?
Honestly, it really doesn't do anything for my confidence. Like I said, I think it's just definitely reassuring that I know that I'm on the right path. I know the times that I get to go home and kind of be by myself and have those thoughts by myself. it's reassuring to know that what I think by myself kind of comes to fruition in light. And I think for my mindset and the confidence, like I said, man, it's definitely just reassuring to understand that I know that I take this serious. The people that do love me, the people that genuinely do care for me, my coaches, my family, my teammates, they know what I do. They know who I am. They know how hard I want this. They know how hard I want a job. And I mean, to come out here and hear what the scouts say and the coaches say, I mean, it definitely gets me emotional. But it's like throughout any times, the hard times throughout my previous school, even at Arizona, we had a bad season. To still be here where I am today, still getting the recognition, still getting the love from everybody, is truly humbling, man. And man, I try not to cry, but it's truly inspirational. Just never give up. And like I said, it doesn't really do anything for my confidence. It just just keeps me make sure I know I'm on the right path, for real.
How's your year here at Arizona?
And you heard it, Deshaun Mallory right there. I mean, the emotion. Look, that's not scripted or fake. I mean, that's how he feels. And again, you heard that he dropped 100 pounds. Like, I mean, he dropped what, like a 9-10-year-old, 8-9-10-year-old. I mean, that's just crazy. But yeah, when he's at Michigan State, again, things had to go right. But you know what? Hey, transfer portal paid off. And, you heard like the emotion, but like I said, the feedback from the scouts, that was one thing, like the weight, like he wanted to show off his speed. That's like he said, like he goes, I think, a film last year, not that he looked slow, but yeah, I mean, defensive line, he said, it's a little undersized, but look, the workout for the Bears. And hey, man, I talked to him before the draft. I'm going to work to get, again, he's got to work out, but to get Deshaun Mallory on the show. Yeah, it's one of those things where, man, like I said, to overcome a lot, but like you said, I want to show off his skills and the feedback that he's gotten either way. And, obviously all the coaches were out there. I got to talk to, I talked to Coach Regal, talked to Coach Cooper, saw Coach Ward, Coach Tuitele, and Coach Saga out there is always awesome. But yeah, I mean, and, to see, and Coach Amy, I mean, like to see them out there, guys are working with the D line that knows what kind of, competitor he is. And again, I mean, it shows up, and he, like I said, I mean, the emotion, everything, that's straight up raw, but the heart. And like I said, yeah, you obviously got to have size. You got to have talent. you got to be coachable, but the talent's got to, pay off with the coaching. So look, I think this young man, probably be an undrafted free agent, but the team that gets him, oh man, what he's going to bring in, what we've seen from him, what I've been able to see from him in practice the last, 2 years. And obviously last year being tough, like it's one of those things, like it's the heart and the will and the motor. I mean, people always say motor is so cliche, but I mean, it's there for Deshaun Mallory. So I'm looking very, very forward to, what he does coming up. But now let's hear from Ro Torrance yesterday too. Cause I mean, he had, he transferred 2 years ago, and he's a long corner. And I mean, he loves to play man. And they didn't do a lot of that. And I mean, he got to sometimes, but I'll let him say it to you. But he said it throughout the year. I had him sound bites from practice and on the show from back in the fall. So yeah, but Ro Torrance, love the way he played this again, with what he did. But yes, without further ado, here is former Sun Devil corner, but Sun Devil corner Ro Torrance.
I thought it would be.
I saw you kind of interacting with some of the scouts. What was that feedback like?
They just like me being myself, just showing who I am when I'm, not on the field or when I'm off the field or just around other people, so I was just showing them who I really am, who Ro Torrance is.
And how important is it to keep that positive energy from rep to rep, regardless of how the last rep went?
I mean, I play cornerback. You got to have that confidence. Like, you're going to get beat, things going to happen. It's how you respond. So I just translate that to my everyday life and, just being able to respond regardless of what happens to me.
Do you have any visits lined up with teams?
Sorry?
Do you have any visits lined up with teams in the next few weeks?
Yeah, I got a couple lined up. I'm actually going to meet with the Jets and the Vikings after this, and I'm going to a local day for the Cardinals back in April.
So what separate
yourself being able to use my length, being able to, there's some other big corners in the draft too, don't get me wrong, but knowing how to use it and knowing my strengths and weaknesses with my size and my skill set.
Yeah. Now you did win Defensive Player of the Year at Hudson Community College. So knowing that, you got to this point now, what would you say to any JUCO product out there?
Keep grinding. Put your head down and grind. No matter what it look like, no matter how tough it is, like you stick it through, you're gonna make it through. There's light at the end of the tunnel.
What was the biggest thing you want to improve on between Indianapolis and Hudson?
Really just, putting it all together. Like everything I've been training for and everything I've been working for these past couple months, just putting it all together and just letting loose, going out down the field and letting it go.
What has that training process been like for you?
It's been a fun process, it's been up and down, just with the mental side of it, but all in all, when I just look back on it, I just look at it like I'm blessed. Like I'm in a position where a lot of people want to be, and I can't even take it for granted, so I'm glad I got to experience that and got the chance to go through it, and it's something that I always cherish.
When it comes to days like today, and you're saying I'm your biggest fans and your teammates, those kind of things, how important is that camaraderie through?
Bro Torrance be the steal of the drive, man. Y'all know right now. I mean, you see that right there, like that make the game much funner. Like it make you not even want to leave. Like it make you want to just stay forever. But it's like that camaraderie, it lasts a long time. It's after college, after football, like in your everyday livelihood. Like, but during football, like they will keep things together when adversity hit. Your brother got your back, and you got his back.
How fun is it to go through, the process with them? Obviously you guys push each other, did throughout practice all year, but how fun is it to go through this process with Chris?
Man, it's actually so fun. Like, we all walked in the building this morning around the same time. Like, neither one of us seen each other since the end of the season, so we just like seeing each other again, and then everything just getting right back on track. Like we was just with each other yesterday or something. It's just like, like this, like I said, that camaraderie that lasts a long time. Long after football. So it's always good to see those guys, and we all on the same mission. And I hope all of us achieve our goals. We will achieve our goals. No hope in it. We're gonna achieve our goals, and I wish nothing but the best for them guys.
Where do you think you made the strongest impression today?
I say in my drills, being able to move with my size and my length.
Have there been any former Sun Devils who have, kind of told you about this process that you're going to be going through, or giving you any advice?
X pretty much, X kind of told me about it, but it wasn't too much advice he could give. He played running back, I played cornerback, but he was just saying like it's a lot of mental, like keeping your mental on par and just taking it one day at a time, one rep at a time.
What are you looking, obviously today being important, but with what you put on tape the last 2 years, what do you feel you bring to a team?
A lockdown cornerback, somebody who's going to give you everything he got, play in and play out regardless of the scoreboard. He's going to go out there and give you 110% every snap. Out of all 32 teams in the NFL, somebody's going to be looking to have.
So what's your favorite position to play? What position comes to play?
Cover one. With a little bit of cover zero. Let the shine go, give me some money. Let the boys go hunt. But I like to play man coverage. I like to be in your face every single play, like using my God-given strength.
It's a couple weeks away, but where will you be during the draft?
I'm pretty much gonna go share the experience at home with my family and my loved ones, and a lot of people who saw me get to this, knowing where I came from, saw me get this far. So I'm gonna share the experience with them.
What was it feeling going into today? And then obviously there's scouts from every team. Today that you got a lot of course. So what was it feeling like slept like last night?
I couldn't sleep, honestly, but I just had to say a prayer and just leave it all up to God, so I can get my rest. But coming in today, the emotions everywhere, nervous, anxious, excited, like it was a little bit of everything. But once I got out here and I got the jitters out, it just felt like a normal day to me.
Did it go as well as you had hoped for?
It went pretty well for me, it went pretty well. Like I can't complain, like I did my best, and I'm okay with that. I can live with what I did, knowing that I did my best.
With your college career starting with Harvard, Clemson, through ASU, what does it feel like to just be standing in this position on the brink of college?
I mean, it's a dream come true. Like it's like moments like these. This is what made me remind me of dream college. Like, the question I just asked, like you just got to keep going. Like I can remember it was times I wanted to give up. It was times I just wanted to like call my mom and say, "Well, I'm coming home." But like looking back on it, like it made me cherish these moments right here. But like, knowing what I went through to get here, it made me appreciate it so much more.
Thanks for
And that's Ro Torrance again. Yeah, you hear it straight out. Cover 1, cover 0. But no, I mean, look, that's his game. But I mean, like you said, working hard to get to this point, knowing what he could bring to a team, and especially at that position. I mean, throughout the years, there's been some longer, the corners were a lot of times smaller, and you started getting these 6'3", 6'4" wide receivers, and tight ends too. These 6'5", 6'6" tight ends, like they can run with them, but the problem is the ball goes up top. The ball goes up top, and guess what? You are not out jumping them for that ball. Even if you're 5'8", 5'9", with 37, 38-inch vertical, they're 6'5", 6'6", and they got a, 35, 38-inch vertical. Like, it's just a no-win situation there. But yeah, for Ro Torrance, being hurt him there, like, being put in the position and, working hard. And yeah, I mean, like you said, he called home, wanted to be like, hey, I'm coming home. And it is work, but yeah, I mean, you can just that, the energy, you saw Chris Edmonds walk up there and talk about it, say he's the seal of the draft. And I mean, but that's the relationship those two have had since Ro Torrance got here. I mean, Chris Edmonds was obviously already here, but that they've had the last 2 years, and, getting to be out of practice, seeing it, watching it. It's one of those things where it's like, yeah, like that, working well together, and obviously playing in the secondary, you got to be able to communicate. But like you said, I mean, it is a brotherhood, and I'm excited for Torrance. I believe he definitely gets drafted. Like I said, longer corners, and there might be some that, snap, but he showed he could close. I mean, the tape is there too. And getting that invite to the combine, there's definitely, when you're looking at it. So I expect big things from Ro Torrance. I mean, especially, I just think he's got that I mean, even that presence on the field. It's not just because he's a 6'3", 6'2", 6'3" corner. Like, just the presence, and with defensive backs, for those of you that you're talking about defensive back coaching. Yes, speed. They talk ball skills, but it's hips, especially for corners. I mean, getting your hips around, being able to turn around, like that, my friends, is where obviously you're talented. You keep going up. Your athletic ability can take you so far, but it's just, getting hips turned, like, not slowing down, and, not opening up too early, and like just all the nuances to playing corner, depending on obviously what kind of, coverage for that play you're playing, what kind of scheme overall, but for that play, what kind of coverage you're playing, and not letting a receiver, exploit you. And look, there's going to be battles, and yeah, some won, some lost, but he can close down and get in the air and knock balls away. So I'm excited to see it. But speaking of which, the last person we'll hear from, and there's more, we'll hear from Gio Sanders and Trey Brown tomorrow. But I want to get Chris Edmonds in too, because again, this young man had a hell of a season, hell of a career at ASU, and I mean, I think he ran. Unofficially around like 4.4 yesterday, like a 4.42 or something like that. So he moving good. He's moving very good. And again, just how he hit and how he played, like that, again, that energy too. It is, yeah. I mean, of course you're excited to get a chance to go play football, but in practice, when you get to the point of every season, any level, any season like that last, third of the season where it's like, okay, practice again, like, never saw that from Chris Edmonds. Like, and that's what you love. And having the skill and talent, like I talked about, helps as well. So without further ado, here is Chris Edmonds.
That was my goal to hit. So, somebody as yourself, like, that didn't have the opportunity to go to the combine, how important was it really to gear for this event today? It was very important. I feel like not even going to the combine gave me extra time to, train and just get ready for this pro day.
What do you think your in the gym section? What do you think your best part was?
Gym section, my best part. Probably probably vert. Probably, the gym session wasn't, it wasn't my best, but I knew when I got on the field, that's what I was going to, make my money and show the scouts what I can do.
What do the next few weeks, leading up into the draft look like for you?
Just continue to. I'm your biggest fan too, Torrance. Probably, just chill with family, continue to train as hard as I can, hopefully get some visits aligned. Got one visit aligned, but hopefully get some more visits aligned, talk to some more scouts and stuff like that, and just put it all in God's hands.
I know the last season from a team.
And there was Chris Edmonds. Don't know what happened there. There's a little bit more, but yeah, no, he like I said, visits, but like you said, you hear him talking. You heard Ro Torrance shout over. That he was Chris's biggest fan, and you saw Chris come over and, when Ro was getting talked, he's saying the seal of the draft. Like I said, the camaraderie's there, but yeah, Chris Edmonds, love his game. Also working to have him on the show as well before the draft. So so stay tuned. Again, I will definitely let you know about that. But it's just. Whew. I'm stoked for these guys. Like I said, we'll hear from Gio Sanders and Trey Brown tomorrow. I got that for you, promise. So we will hear from both of them. And, Trey Brown was a transfer, but man, his leadership on defense coming from Washington State, obviously knowing Coach Ward, but then playing for Coach Ward, who, yes, saw him still owes me an interview. And he says he will. So no, but Trey Brown, what he meant defensively, and, obviously Coach Cooper coming down to Tempe from Washington State when Coach Ward got the D coordinator job, bringing Coach Cooper down. So it's just awesome. But yeah, we'll hear from Trey Brown. That young man too, had a battle injury, and but the smarts playing linebacker, and you'll hear him talk about it tomorrow. But don't forget this weekend, obviously we'll talk more about that tomorrow too. A lot to get to, but the softball team hosting Oregon State Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, 6-5, and I want to say 12 or 1 on Sunday. Men's baseball, Territorial Cup points. They're going to play that team down south. And after Tuesday, I hope there's a little fire in the belly, like Willie Bloomquist said, and they beat down the Kitties. That is, I'm looking forward to that. Yes, please beat down the Kitties. And that is love that. Just like we were talking yesterday, and yes, I definitely want to beat down the kitty cats. That being said, so that is this weekend. Again, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Sunday's a 4:00 game. So you technically, the softball game is at 1. It's not at 12. If it was at 12, I was going to say you could go to the softball game and then, trek down south to enjoy some Sunday baseball and watch this right here, the pitchfork, put a fork in the kitty. But that being said, so that is this weekend. And like I said, tennis is going to be in San Diego. Men's tennis in San Diego. Women's tennis will actually be down up in LA from San Diego, but over in LA, taking on USC and UCLA this weekend as well. Talk a little bit more about that. Beach volleyball as well. And I will let you know tomorrow too what water polo has coming up. And then men's wrestling. Obviously, they won the Pac-12 championship. The date's on for nationals. So we'll talk all about that. Swimming as well too. Forks up to both of them, obviously bringing home Pac-12 hardware. So I'm going to get out of here again at Diablo00 on X, the artist formerly known as, yes, you know it, Twitter. Follow me there. Any thoughts, questions, anything, let me know. Send a message. Anything I may have missed. Again, not much, but it happens at times. So I don't mind being reminded, unless you're from that school down south and you're trying to, if you're trying to stain my maroon and gold colored shades that I see life through. when it comes to obviously ASU, Sun Devil Nation and sports, then I don't want to hear from you. No, I will hear from you again. Be civil about it, but yeah. So I will. But yeah, at Diablo00 on X, on Twitter, my IG Michael.Caratino.5, the YouTube channel. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. You missed anything? Obviously, all the sound, every stuff I get, interviews, everything up. Go to my YouTube, subscribe, and guess what? You can binge watch and catch all the interviews. But yes, it's at M is in Michael, V is in Victory, C is in Cat 005 at MVC005 on YouTube. Subscribe, and you can catch up on it all, everything beautiful around Sun Devil Nation. So that is where we're at. But have a great rest of your Thirsty Thursday. I will see you tomorrow for Friday and Friday, whatever you want to call it. But I will see you tomorrow. Same bad time, same bad channel. Have a great rest of your Thursday. And yes, Pitchfork Lunchers, I didn't forget. You know it, of course, especially for those people down south. As always, forks up.
Cherry's three. Johnny Walker matching up against control. His shot. Bruce score. They score. They tie the game up 2-2. Some drives out for Robbie Ryan. Her three right on the money. This is Taya Hansen for three. Other side of the rim with a pretty reverse. Wow. 5 seconds to go. Find Hawk. Hawk spins. It rolls off. And Arizona State wins it. Edwards pulls off. And buries the puck.